it is Jo from Minerva, and today I'm here to do another Savannah hack video. It's a little bit windy today in my studio, so you might hear a little bit of background noise. Today I am wearing the Savannah dress, of course. This is in a French terry. This is Urban Cheetah. Really cosy, great for me because I sit down at work, and this dress works really well if you wear a long sleeve t-shirt underneath and layer it up. This one has a hood hack on it, so it's much more casual, feels really fun to wear, and I've shortened the length and added a hemband so it gives it a really sporty look. Today though, our video is all about our fabric choice. You can make the Savannah in lots of different fabrics from the Minerva core range. So this is one of our exclusive prints. So this is a Minerva Exclusive in a French terry. Annette's here is made in a suede Scuba, which has a really nice suede texture, but all the drape and stretch of a Scuba fabric. And another example using Scuba is this one here. This one is Scuba with a little lurex metallic finish running through it, and it gives it a really different look, but again worn with another layer underneath. Today we're going to use some Scuba, but we're going to use two tones. We're going to use a black and white and make a monochrome version, because the Savannah dress really lends itself to some colour blocking, because you've got these two seams that run down here with the pockets at the bottom, so you can make this colour section different to this colour section, which makes it great for colour blocking, stash busting, using up different types of fabric, so you can have a print in the middle and a plain on the outside, or vice versa. You've also got the seams on the back as well, so you can get another print piece in the back. Scuba is a stretch fabric. It's got a really springy texture. It's got a really good stretch in the width, not so much in the straight grain, but quite a lot. It's got a really smooth finish because it's a double knit fabric. They mostly come in polyester or synthetic blends with quite a high content of spandex or elastane, and that's what gives it that super stretch. I'm pairing that today with a black Scuba. So I've got an ivory and a black, and we're going to have a little play around with some monochrome hacking. Scuba comes in different thicknesses, so if you check out the Minerva core range Scuba fabric selection, you'll see there's a heavyweight Scuba and a lighter weight one. The lighter weight one is better for this pattern, because if you're putting pockets in this dress, the heavyweight Scuba will create quite a lot of bulk on your side seam where the pocket bags and the side seams all meet. So if you're using a Scuba fabric, have a look at the GSM and the thickness of the fabric. To eliminate this problem today, I'm not going to put the pockets in. I was really interested to see Yvonne's version of the Savannah dress here. Yvonne is a wheelchair user, and she found that if she had the pockets and the cocoon shape, and she was using French terry, then she was getting quite a lot of bulk at her side seams. So when she was sat in her wheelchair, the pockets were sat on her lap, and then she had quite the pockets sort of bagged out at the top, and they were quite bulky. We were chatting on Instagram, and I suggested that maybe if she omitted the pockets, would that help? And we've been having a chat and a conversation, and she said that would really help, because you can still enjoy those lovely design lines of the dress, but she said she didn't need the pockets, and the pockets were what was creating the sort of pooling of fabric at the sides. So today I'm going to make the Savannah dress without the pockets, and I think because I'm using Scuba, that's a really good combination, because Scuba is so springy and thick and spongy that if you were going to make a dress and you're not a wheelchair user, omitting the pockets would give you a really nice sort of cocoon silhouette. You could hug it in a little bit more. You've got a few more options to take that side seam in and create a different body shape if you want to. Because I'm eliminating the pockets today, the pattern construction is a little bit different. So if you want a full sew along of Savannah because you've not seen it before, you can check out Diane's video here. She'll show you how to put the dress together per the instructions right from the start all the way through, so you can have a really successful sew. I'm all cut out, and actually by eliminating the pockets I've got a little bit of fabric left over. So if you're a little bit short on fabric, a colour block or a pattern solid block hack and removing the pockets uses much less fabric, if that's what you're after, or that's the predicament you find yourself in. Okay, my machine's all set up and I am ready to sew. It's going to whiz through for you today. I'll do a little voiceover because it's so windy here today. I'll put the dress together and then we can take a look at what it looks like at the end and how we choose our colour blocking. These are my pieces, so I've got my side front and side back. These are the centre front pieces, so these are the ones cut on the fold. I've chosen to do these in white. I don't need to mark all the notches the same because I'm not putting in the pockets. This is the shape that I change for the sleeve hack. I've just got a little bit more fabric there because Scuba is quite thick and bouncy and I don't want to have the sleeves sticking out too much over on the shoulder. It's quite spongy, but it will depend which Scuba fabric you have. I've matched them up, so when I put the shoulder seams together, they're still the same length for construction. I've made these sleeve bands in white because I'm just playing around with how I'm going to colour block it. So that white should go onto the edge of the black fabric. First of all, we're going to start with the front piece. So this piece is cut on the fold and I can match it up with the side front. And we don't need to worry about any of the pocket construction. We can just go straight to the part of the pattern where we join the side fronts to the front. I'm using clips because I'm using a Scuba fabric, and if you use pins, they leave marks in the fabric, and you need really sharp ones because the fabric is so bouncy. I'm all threaded up with Gutterman thread and I'm using a ballpoint needle, which is good for Scuba because it stops it having skip stitches, and I'm also putting my stitch length on stitch length 3. It's really satisfying to see that front seam line when you use a two-tone. We've still got the stretch going in the cross grain, and now we can turn our attention to the back pieces. Sticking with a straight stitch and my stitch length 3, I don't need to worry about the width of the stitch. In terms of finishing Scuba fabric, you'll find it's quite thick and bouncy, so you can press the seams open, but they won't really stay open. You'll just set the stitches within the fabric. If you overlock them together, you'll make quite a thick chunk. So I'm going to press mine over to one side so that on the right side I can't see any of the dark fabric. I've got a really nice smooth white line, but it'll very much depend on what colours you've chosen. So mine are going to lie towards the black fabric, and I'm going to do a top stitch just along the black fabric. I've done that, and you can see I've got 2 lines of stitching now at the back, but it's holding all the seam allowance towards the black and keeping the white really nice and crisp from the right side. I used a stretch stitch to get that top line of stitching, and I did the same on the back piece. It's time to join up the shoulders. Again, I'm going to use clips. I think I'm going to put a black neck on here because then I'll see a nice black line on the 2 white pieces, and I don't mind that it will blend in at the shoulder seams. If I put a white one on, I kind of think I'll have lost the impact at that centre front, and also could get a little bit grubby with a bit of hair dye and that kind of thing. So I'm going to go for a black neckband. If you're doing any kind of colour blocking and your top stitching, so either on a hem or around a neckband, then you really need to just take that time to sew black on black and white on white. I don't want to carry on my top stitching onto that white with black thread, so I'm going to do the 2 black shoulders with my top stitching thread. Then I'm going to change to white. It's time to put the side seams together, and if you're colour blocking, it's really important to get those side seams lined up. I haven't used pins throughout, but I am just going to put one there to make sure that that doesn't move, and then I can match the rest of the side seam up with clips. I'm using the same sewing technique as the neckband, so I'm sewing the black fabric with black. I'm being really careful just as I get to that colour change. And now I'm going to stop, do a back tack and change my threads. Quick change on to white thread, and then I can continue the side seam, matching white thread to the white parts of the fabric. My dress is all hemmed. We can take our first look at that monochrome look. Really striking, especially with that white cuff band there. And the join is really nice and smooth right at that point. Get those seam lines at the back. And I've got the neckband there going on the white. You do lose the neckband a little bit. It'd be nice to have had it maybe matching the hem bands. It's all hemmed. I've got loads less fabric in the width. When seated, I'm getting much less fabric here at the sides. I've still got plenty of room to sit so that it stretches around my hips, but I don't have those pocket bags dropping to the side and creating too much bulk. The hem was easy, I just turned it up. Scuba doesn't fray, so it's just a single turn and I've sewn it. One of the best things about pattern hacking is as you garment develops, you might have another idea. So although I've gone for a sort of 1960s style here, pretty Mary Quant, I'm thinking because of the properties of Scuba and Scuba doesn't fray, I'm going to go for making a few decoration features to go on this side of the top, and then I can wear it without the long sleeve t-shirt and see if I can elevate it to a different style level. I've cut out some random floral shapes. Some of them are quite abstract, some of them are quite floral-like. They're not very even, they really are just freehand cut flower shapes. And I'm going to use those to sort of link up the black and the white nature of the dress. Just going to do a little placement, kind of waterfall of the shapes down the one side of the dress. I'm going to hand sew them on. You could put some little beads in the centres if you wanted to, or you could try French knots, but you need to sew them all on individually so you still get the stretch of the dress. The result is a really 3D look. Feels really nice. None of it's going to fray. They're good if you bunch them up so that one lands on another. You have to sew them individually there. They're all knotted off on the reverse. You can make it as big or as small as you like. Look at that. Doesn't it look great? Looks really different when I don't wear my long sleeve t-shirt underneath and I have that there. It's like a sort of built-in corsage, just linking up the white of the sleeve and then my whole monochrome look of the top. It really blends in with the neckband and it brings that centre front white piece into the shoulder seam. I've just used little knots from the thread, but it looks great. I hope you have enjoyed today's hack. Of course, you can take the pockets off. If you're a wheelchair user, you might find that a little bit useful to avoid too much fabric at the side seams. It's also great if you're using Scuba because you can reduce some of that bulk in the side, but you still get that lovely silhouette. It also gives you the opportunity to take the side seams in a little bit so you can get a much figure hugging dress if that's the style that you like. If you want to check out some other fabrics that are suitable for the Savannah dress, you can check out Vicky's video here where she takes you through lots of different fabric types that you can use for the Savannah dress. They'll all give you a slightly different look. We would love to see your versions of the Savannah dress, so do head over to Minerva, make a free account and share your makes there. We'd love to see a little description and a photo so we can see what you have been choosing. Do call again for more sewing inspiration. There are more Savannah hacks to come, so do keep your eyes peeled. There's nothing to stop you making a sporty hoodie version like this with the colour block in plain French terry. That would make a really good version too. Thanks for joining me. Do call again soon.